Hello and welcome back to a Madman Big Finish review, a video series where I review some of the latest Big Finish releases. I'm joined again, am I pointing in the right direction, by my co-host Professor Pixel, as we have our discussion and review of the 11th Doctor Chronicles, All of Time and Space. It's the fourth box set of the 11th Doctor Chronicles range, with Jacob Dodman as the 11th Doctor, and in preparation for this, we both listened to Geronimo, because that was the start of this change in format. Unlike the majority, for those who haven't listened to the Chronicles, that's very different compared to the audio dramas, because it's what would you say about, it's not really a 50-50 of narration and drama.
The thing is, with the classic Chronicles, you have the narrator, who is usually also playing the Doctor, as well as one companion that fills in the lines, but it's just like the audio novels. It's just like a short version, a mini audio novel.
Yeah. But for starting with Geronimo, they've gone into to now full cast audio drama, so pretty much the rest of the 90% of Big Finish releases. So what were your thoughts on Geronimo before we get into All of Time and Space?
I was delighted. My problems with the first box set of the 11th Doctor Chronicles, which I think we did a review of. I don't know if Jimmy ever posted it.
I don't know. It could be one of our missing episodes.
I still got to get those out one day. Yes. So that one is just, didn't hit right. This one, or Geronimo, was perfect. He sounds so much like the 11th Doctor. You are so convinced. And then the writing as well, it's just beautiful. It's this combination. I could close my eyes and it felt like the TV was on and a Moffat era story was playing, because they did an excellent job. I loved Valarie. She was great. Yes. The character is she.
Yes.
But
going off the description, the character is she. The actor is they or she. Going off from what I've seen on TARDIS Wiki, they identify with they or she. So you'd still be right, depending.
Yeah. So with Valarie, it was so great to listen to her as you got a tidbit of her life, and then just being thrown in with the Doctor, and it just fit right. They have a chemistry, and listening to the interviews, because it's one of those stories. When a story is really good, you want to hear the people behind the scenes talk about it. And this was one of those, because she loved it, or they loved it. And with the energy that Valarie is able to carry along with the Doctor, they make a great team. It's one of it definitely hits right.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Geronimo. Every story in it is fantastic, but especially the first and the last one of Geronimo were probably the highlights, because I think it's a great introduction for Valarie with the first story. I really enjoy Valarie as a companion. She works so well with the 11th Doctor.
Yes.
So the fact that we're getting her for these, because it's a 4-book set arc, because this is, for those who haven't listened to Geronimo, this is set in between the Snowman and series 7 part 2.
Yes.
Where the Doctor is looking for Clara. He's discovered that Clara has been multiple people. He wants to know why, so he's looking for Clara. So that is the setup for the Doctor in these adventures, that he's looking for Clara. So he's taken Valarie as a companion with him. But yeah, Geronimo, absolutely amazing. I loved everything about Geronimo. But we're not here for Geronimo. We are here for All of Time and Space. And where better to start than All of Time and Space. That is the name of the first story. It's by by Ellery Quest. Interesting, because Ellery Quest is one of the main characters in this story. So what do you think of the first story, All of Time and Space?
I don't know how full into spoilers we're going, because
up to you if you want to go with spoilers, or I don't mind.
To let people experience it themselves, because it is still really new. It's not like when we did the first Doctor Adventures, because there'd been at least a little bit of build of time between us recording. But for this one, the first story is really strong. I was surprised with how strong it was, because I think that the opening, I took a moment to be convinced that the direction they were going was a decent one.
Yes.
But I think that the story by Ellery Quest, also starring Ellery Quest, is absolutely charming. There is a bit towards the end of the story with Valarie and the Doctor, and they have a minor kerfuffle, we can say, and it's, I don't know if that hit right with me, but I still like Valarie throughout this box set, and I think with this story, I loved the ending in the library. That's all I'll say.
Yes. So yeah, all I'm going to say is this is a almost meta kind of story.
It's pretty meta.
Because in this synopsis for it, it is someone is pitching Doctor Who as a TV show. So that's all we're going to say about that. Yeah, this was definitely a really strong start to this box set. I love the concept of it being kind of like meta. It being like, well, what if, this was like Doctor Who was a show, it was being pitched, all of that. It's fantastic. Character of Ellery, amazing. Really enjoyed his character. Everything about it was solid. I could not find a single fault with this story. So, an amazing start to All of Time and Space. With All of Time and Space. So, you were going to say something?
No, I just know where we're going.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So, our second story, The Yearn by Angus Dunican. What did you think of The Yearn? Did you yearn?
No, I didn't yearn for it. I think I love this box set, and I can go ahead and say that strongly, because, like you said with Geronimo, how the first one and the last one. What was the second story of Geronimo?
Second story was the House of the Masks. It's the one where they go to the party with masks.
I like that one. That one.
I really like.
I didn't like this one. I just didn't. I didn't feel for it. Like the whole tale as it was happening, it reminded me, oddly enough, of the setting for I don't know why, for the last story of Geronimo, where it feels very compact, like it's all tucked together. And I just didn't yearn for the Yearn. That I didn't find anything about it particularly astounding. Yeah, that's all I can really say. It was really quite forgettable.
Well, I liked this. It's not as strong as the first and last story in this box set, but I did like it. I like the ideas where they fully fleshed out, particularly towards the end when you get the reveal about like the Yearn and like some other entity there as well. I feel like that wasn't fleshed out as much as it should have been. I wish I could have got a bit more about that, but oh well. But I still liked this story. It's still a solid story, but it is a kind of just in the middle, kind of story. So it's not bad. I'm not saying it's a bad story. It's an okay story that I liked, and it had good ideas that I wish were just explored a bit more.
That's fair. And if there is a hint that we could be getting more of this setting, actually, thanks to our friend Ellery. But that's on another day.
It's another day, yes. And then we come to our finale, Curiosity Shop by James Goss. Now, Pixel.
No. I don't know how to talk about it without spoiling it. But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and use it's very hard not.
I think we should allow spoilers in this because it is very hard to talk about it without spoiling it, because it's just one of those stories where if we just said, yeah, it's really good,
we're not doing it its due, because if you don't want spoilers, run away, go listen to it, then come back. But no, the Curiosity Shop does not have the Doctor for the most part. It has Mr. Foreman, who runs a junkyard on a planet off in some galaxy. And, you know, they didn't have a junkyard before he arrived on that planet. He made it himself. And what we get is a delightful experience of Jacob Dudman doing the 11th Doctor, being other doctors, starting all the way from the first. And as the story goes on, he is changing his voice to match the tone of other doctors while trying to be the 11th Doctor still. Yes. And it is fantastic. He is able to capture the tone for each doctor just right, which I know is a large part due to the writing, but how he's able to carry that tone. I wanted to see Matt Smith do it. This is one of those stories that you just want to see on screen. And Valarie, all throughout it, she is tearing herself apart because Mr. Foreman, well, he requires payment to go ahead into his curiosity shop to see the blue box. And he gives her a bit of money as well, so that way she can afford food. And that means there's one more character. There's only 3 characters in this whole thing, but it still feels larger than actually the story before this one. And I'm just going to go ahead and take a breath after saying that, Dudman, you did a great job.
Yes, I'd say this was definitely my favorite story out of this box set, just based on Dudman's performance alone. Yeah, having 11 be essentially just be other versions of himself, previous versions of himself, is great. And you could tell that I don't know if he says it in the interviews because I've yet to listen to them. Like, he kind of like almost studied how the inflections of each doctor, like he captures it really well, especially with I would say his impressions of the 3rd Doctor and the 9th Doctor.
Yes,
he may not sound he may not sound like them, but how they speak, the inflection in their voices, he captures them greatly.
When talking about it, because they do the interviews at the end, and I had to listen to it. He said that it was quite maddening. Actually, he wrote the writer and said that, I love the script. This is brilliant. But are you trying to kill me? Because the mental game that is playing the 11th Doctor while playing other doctors through the 11th Doctor, it drove him and Nicholas Briggs crazy. But Nick Briggs said to just don't think about it. Just try to do it. And that's it's great.
Yeah, and I know we're giving a lot of praise to Dudman in this, but Sophia Ingar, Valarie, also really stands out in this story. You see her kind of like devotion to the Doctor, how much she trusts him. He's not the Doctor at this point anymore. She doesn't know why, but she just keeps going to him, hoping that he becomes the Doctor again one day.
Wake up, Doctor!
Because there's they're on a planet that could be destroyed in a war, and what both her and the planet needs is the Doctor, and she just keeps going every time to go see him to see if is he back, and she's always so disappointed. You kind of tell with her voices that she's disappointed that he's not the Doctor, but still wants to tell the tale, his tale. And Jacob Dudman and Sophia Inga did an amazing performance in this story.
There's such a charm in the way that she was telling the stories, and she would go to say what he was saying, and Mr. Foreman, as exactly the Doctor, would fill in the lines, as, of course, Matt Smith, or the 11th Doctor, but then revert right back. I loved when she met the 6th version, because there's this starting point where he pretty much insults, "Oh, but you can't see very well, can you?" And she's like, "Stop it." And but moves on because he says that he doesn't like the ships up in the sky threatening the planet below. He wants to do something to stop it. He's trying to stop it. He's wrote the governor, and they aren't doing anything, so he might have to do it himself. And she kind of lights up at that because he's close. And I know it would drive Jimmy mad that the closest that he was at that moment to being the Doctor was in his 6th of 4. But
yes.
Oh God.
But yeah, and you have you have the box set starting strong with All of Time and Space, the titular story, and then ending incredibly strong with Curiosity Shop. See, even the whole story of the recurring arc of trying to find Clara, or this mysterious woman that's I honestly kind of just forgot about the whole mysterious woman that's calling them. I don't even really think it mattered.
No, who might be the person that gave the hint in the first story of Geronimo. We're just moving on because these adventures, while they are all pretty individual and they have this time, you know how there are gaps where you can say, oh, we had stories here and here and here. You can feel that here, but it doesn't feel disconnected. It still flows. It's a breathing thing. And I think the first part, talking about stories and how they can impact and through all sorts of media, it's beautiful to talk about for Doctor Who as well. And then this one really talking about the Doctor having to build himself back up. And he tells Valarie that. Valarie is trying to get past tearing herself apart for the Doctor, but she had that faith in him. And in the end, it did pay off.
Yep, definitely. So, for all that was our review, what would you rank All of Time and Space?
It's really hard not to jump to a 10 just because of those stories, but I'm going to go 9.5 only because I felt like the middle story just didn't bring enough. But the first and the last story of this box set, it's some of the best Doctor Who, period. And it's astounding to say that about the 11th Doctor Chronicles when I really didn't care for the first one as much as I did.
Well, to be fair, aside from for you, it's either be a drama or be a novel. Don't be both. Which is why I don't think you would like the early adventures, because it's half.
It's very hard. Admittedly.
See, I'm kind of okay. It is a bit jarring, but having listened to a lot of the early adventures, I've now gotten used to it. But for me, I would give All of Time and Space I'd give it a solid 9.
Okay.
9 out of 10 for All of Time and Space. Apart from that middle story, I still like the middle story, but those first two stories, the first story and the last story, absolutely amazing. Brilliant, fantastic stories. And I don't know. What else could I really say about them? Because
If you are on the fence, don't be. Jump right in. You don't need the first box set. I highly recommend you listen to the first box set.
Actually, I would counter that because I feel like you would need their previous adventures to justify Valerie's arc, Valerie's arc in Curiosity Shop. Why would she be so devoted to the Doctor that she's literally tearing herself apart?
I would actually say it's more for the first story because it's a direct cliffhanger that led into this story. How Geronimo ended led directly into all of time and space.
Yeah. And that, yeah.
I kind of forgot about that. It's hard. Okay. Both these box sets. Go get them.
Yes. We definitely recommend both of these box sets. So definitely go check out Geronimo and All of Time and Space. And after that, I'm very eager for the next two box sets.
Me too.
And it's a shame that this, for now, would be these 4 box sets are the last we'll ever hear of Jacob Dudman as 11. Because he does an amazing job.
An astounding job. And that's his choice. I can't say I understand his choice because now they're giving him his dues properly, giving him proper 11th Doctor adventures. But it is what it is. He wants to break away. I respect that. Thank you for the time you've given us, Jacob.
Yeah, he's not dying.
But
just leaving a role.
It's like he's dying to me, okay?
So mean. So grim.
Well, think about it. Think about it this way. The 11th Doctor is... Matt Smith isn't coming back, at least for quite some time. So what do we have for 11 right now? No one.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and I don't know how they'll find someone to replace Dudman at this point for that. But I guess Dudman wants to keep doing some more 12th Doctor and 10th Doctor before he goes. Okay.
Yes. But anyway, we are both eager for the next 2 releases in the 11th Doctor Chronicles, continuing our adventures of the 11th Doctor and Valarie, both giving amazing performances. So yes, check out Geronimo, check out All of Time and Space. 9 out of 10 for me, 9.5 out of 10 for Pixel. Thank you everyone for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you've listened to either one of the box sets or both, give your thoughts in the comments below. And we'll see you all in the next one. Ciao.
Geronimo.